Hello, and thanks for joining us on this HOA Leader video chat with two of our experts. My name is Gabriella Flisco. Today, I'm joined by Molly Peacock of Virginia and Scott Weiss of Tennessee. And today we're using news reports about a 300-unit high-rise condo community in Dallas called Preston Tower as a jumping off point to discuss how you should view lawsuits against your community. So according to these news reports, and it's just the news reports, we don't know if these are exactly accurate, Preston Tower has been sued by its owners 4 times in the past 4 years. And according to reports, owners have won all 4 times. So the report also says owners have recovered 1.3 million, and that doesn't include 2 lawsuits where the amounts aren't public, according to this report. So assuming that's all true, we're going to discuss briefly today whether this level of litigation against a board is common. And in our second video, Molly and Scott will discuss the most common reasons boards get sued for their decisions, plus their tips on how to avoid litigation. So just a note, our experts are providing these insights based on the laws in their state, and it's intended to provide you general guidance you can use to help you when you approach experts in your own state. With that in mind, let's jump in. Molly, what do you think about this reported situation?
Thank you, Gabriella. Hi, everybody. Well, I'm really surprised to hear about it. I think that it's highly unusual for a community association, a condo in this case, about 300 units, I think I heard, to be sued 4 times in 4 years and have that amount of payout. I've never seen that in my practice of, I don't know, over 15 years. And I've been practicing in the Washington, D.C. and Northern Virginia area for those amount of years, representing all manner of community association. That something like that's I've never even heard of that, something like that happening. And I've never encountered something like of that high frequency. So it is an interesting case study. I would be so interested to look at the court papers, whatever's public, to see what facts and circumstances could have led to those 4 suits.
I mean, I completely agree with Molly. I think it is very unusual. I've also never seen that many lawsuits filed that closely together and settlements, and for such large dollar amounts. But I would also have to say that a lot of these things, or all these things, they're fact dependent. And so it would be interesting to see the facts of each of these cases. Because the questions that come to my mind immediately are these property damage cases? Are these personal liability cases? Are they fair housing complaint settlements? Are they a board overreach, violation of fiduciary duty type cases? So they could be completely unrelated, but then again, if they are related, some, even vaguely related, then yes, that would be it would always be a huge concern for me if I were the attorney for this association, but it would be more concerning if they were all closely related, versus being coincidentally unrelated. Does that make sense?
Yes, very briefly, if I were an owner in this community, I would be worried about spending so much money on litigation. Should owners be asking the board more questions, and what can the board tell them? Briefly, I know that was just a quick thought. Molly?
Excellent. Oh, I would wonder that. I'm on a couple of, I don't know, because I'm say yes too much, nonprofit boards. The point is, and members of nonprofits, just as a citizen, I want to know how my monies or our membership dues money. So everybody is entitled to know what's going on. You should not waste money. You can quote me, I guess, on litigation, on resolving disputes when there's not much money and there's a lot of holes in the roof, so to speak, metaphorically. So yes, if I were, and maybe I'm jumping ahead, if I were the lawyer for for a beleaguered community, I would assemble multiple town hall meetings, information meetings with the lawyer, sometimes perhaps to make sure we don't disclose attorney-client privilege or questionable or confidential information. But there is a whole lot that can be disclosed to really get the whole community into the know about what's happening with our money. And that is number one importance, I think.
Scott, what's your thought on that?
I totally agree. In my experience, homeowners are naturally suspicious of the board and what the board's doing all the time, and they're always questioning that. And I think the more transparency, particularly with this kind of thing, the better. Of course,
Right.
they can't disclose too much if there's ongoing litigation. I mean, there's really only so much if it is any ongoing litigation. But something else occurred to me while Molly was just speaking. After that first lawsuit, I mean, I would have to expect that the association, at least the corporate counsel, was involved in that, and so I would wonder what was going on when these other three lawsuits were filed. And so the attorney had to have been involved at that point, actively involved. So it would be interesting to see what was going on that caused those other three lawsuits to take place. So I don't know, but those are just my thoughts. Yep.
Great. Well, thank you, Molly. Thank you, Scott. Listeners, we hope you'll join us again next month for our next discussion.